Hi, and welcome back to my kitchen. We are making carnivore lasagna tonight for dinner. And there were several people that had asked for this recipe. So I thought, well, I made the brown butter sauce already, so why not do the whole lasagna deal? If you ever thought that adopting a proper human diet, one where you cut out all ultra-processed food, grains, legumes, foods with anti-nutrients, and you thought you might have to give up your most favorite foods, you don't have to. I learned this trick from Maria Emmerich, and I never, ever, ever in a million years would have thought of replacing the noodles with a lunch meat. Now, I've done lasagna where we've used zucchini that I've sliced thin. That gets extremely watery. I have done lasagna where I have used cabbage as the noodles, and that's okay, but it's a little bit on the tougher side. And if you're trying to be complete carnivore, cabbage can be can be a little bit elevated in carbohydrates. So depending on how much you eat, you might not want to go that route. But that is also an option as a sub out for noodles. But I find the lunch meat works really well. It holds together very well. And so I use a clean chicken lunch meat. I have used both turkey and ham before, and they're both fine. So for my recipe, what I like in, and my family likes in our lasagna, is we use ricotta cheese, mozzarella cheese, parmesan, and then a little bit of cheddar on top. So obviously, if you're trying to limit dairy, this might not be the best recipe for you. I do not measure anything. I'm just telling you that right now. So what I like to do is, hang on, I just gotta grab my parmesan that I set over here. So I get shredded parmesan. You could get the block and shred it yourself, but to me there's really no difference. So, and it saves time, and my time is valuable. So I like to mix my ricotta cheese made with whole milk. Always get with the whole milk. So this is going to be just a little bit more in carbs, but not that much. And for 2 pounds, I made about 2.5 pounds of hamburger meat. I use one of the 15 or 16, I think. They may come in between 14 and 16 ounces. It doesn't really matter, but I like to mix it right in with my ground beef. So I already browned the beef because everyone knows how to brown beef. And then all we're going to do is we are going to layer it. There's no right way or wrong way to make this lasagna. Make it how your favorite way is, and just sub out the noodles. It's easy peasy. So I think what I'm going to do is move the camera over here to my island, and I will just move the meat right over here too. And while we're doing this, I've got the oven prepping at for 375. All right. Oops. So I'm just going to do 2 layers. Of the beef, so I'm going to just kind of separate out. Put about half in the bottom. And you can obviously adjust this to your needs. And then at this point, I like to take and just sprinkle some Parmesan on. And then some mozzarella. And again, just kind of do it to your liking. If you're a measurement type of person, or you absolutely like need to know, then just measure it out. It's probably about a cup that I'll use for the entire recipe. Then we're going to take our lunch meat chicken slices. I'm just going to place that on there. And this is a clean lunch meat, so that they don't add any extra icky crap. So just do the best you can. Nothing has to be perfect. We're just doing the best we can. And this is chicken. Like I said, I've done this with turkey. I have done this with ham as well. But the oven roasted chicken breast, it goes over well. So we had this the other night when we had some guests over, and everyone absolutely loved it. Just gonna add a little more meat down right here. Now, this is, besides using lunch meat, another huge difference in this that makes it virtually zero carb is that I have my brown butter cheddar sauce. So I just made this, and I will link the video in the description, as well as I think there will be a link up here somewhere that will take you right to it. So the brown butter cheddar sauce, instead of using a marinara sauce, is the best way to go if you're trying to limit carbs and you can do dairy. You can get clean marinara sauces, and I do that occasionally, but because some people don't do well with tomatoes, because tomatoes are nightshades, and so some people have issues with nightshades or the anti-nutrients in them. This is a good alternative, plus tomatoes can be very high in carbohydrates. So if you're very sensitive to carbohydrates and you just want to try and keep that down as much as possible, or just have something different, the brown butter sauce is the best way to go. So, all right. So I'm just going to take, and I just kind of spread it across the top. And this is still warm from when I just made it a little bit ago. So it's spreading pretty easy. If it had cooled, or you say made it the day before and you were gonna get it out of the fridge, you might just want to warm it up a little so that it will spread easier. And you can also adjust the thickness of your sauce if you want it cheesier, so it's a little more thick, or more pourable like a gravy. And I explained that in the brown butter sauce video. Then we're just going to repeat those layers. I should have made a little more ground beef than what I did, so the top layer isn't going to be quite as meaty, but that's okay. It's still going to be delicious. And we'll just kind of spread that out. I also had kids in here picking at the ground beef as it was sitting waiting for the video. Alright, I get more chicken. Alright, I'm finishing the video. So you're just going to spread the rest of your brown butter sauce on top. And this will spread out as it cooks anyway. I put it on a little bit thicker on the middle section. You can always make more, like do a double batch of brown butter sauce if you're doing a big pan. All right. And I like to add just a little bit more Parmesan cheese to the top because it's yummy. Now we're going to add our shredded cheddar. Okay. We like a lot of cheddar. We are a cheesy family. So again, just adjust this to your taste. Perfect. So that is it. You're going to pop this in the oven, covered for about 30 to 40 minutes at 375. And so I don't cook with aluminum foil, but this is not going to be touching the food. I just make a tent. All right, so I'm going to pop this into the oven at 375 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Then I'm going to take the cover off and I'm going to cook it for another about 10 minutes. Then just leave it stand. So I will be back in about an hour with some yummy lasagna. Okay, so we are back with a cooked lasagna. I had to run my kids somewhere, so Mr. Carnivore watched it for me. It cooked for 40 minutes with the foil tent on, and then about 15 minutes once it was uncovered at 375, and now it's been resting for a bit. But doesn't that just look delicious? It is so yummy. So lasagna is really a staple in our household. More so like when we're having company, or a big group, or just like all of our kids over, because it's very budget friendly. So it also freezes very nicely. So what I'll be doing is probably only about a half of this pan will get eaten tonight, and the other half I will cut up and into individual slices, and I'll weigh them so that I know for my husband, because he needs to know how much. Yeah, go ahead. He needs to know how much insulin he needs to take. So being a type 1 diabetic, things that we would take for granted. Unfortunately, type 1 diabetics don't have that luxury, so it's a little bit more work, but it's worth it to keep him healthy. But what I'll do is then I have individual freezer bags, and I will post a link to my budget video here or here, I don't know, and in the show notes. And I actually have on there my vacuum sealer, my big one, and then my mini one, which uses, it reuses the, they're like Ziploc bags, but they actually have a hole, and I have a handheld vacuum sucker. So I'll freeze those, and those make really great, you know, you're hungry, you don't feel like cooking something, then you can just go grab a piece of lasagna out of the freezer and pop it in the microwave or in the oven if you don't have a microwave. Or if I just need something quick and easy to send him to with work, then I just pull it out, stick it in a dish, and then he just heats it up at work. So lasagna is a great thing to keep in your meal rotation. It's easy to make, freezes beautifully, and it is great for a big crowd because it's not going to be hard on your budget. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy your carnivore lasagna. If you make this or a version of it, play with it. Leave a comment in the video comments on how you liked it, how it turned out. If you made any tweaks, we love all that stuff. With that, I'm going to sign off. If you liked this, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up button, and be sure to share it. We'll talk again soon.